Good evening. It is October 17th, 2012. This is Jason Horripe underneath the Dodge Daytona electric vehicle, and we're taking a look at the brushes. So these are the brushes that I just pulled out of the EV-TV green motor, and these are the Helwig H60 non-split top brushes, which Jack had put in on his show and done some testing with, seating them in and determining that they had a more efficiency, showed up in his tests, than the original H49, I think was the name of the brush, that the motor shipped with. So anyway, so these had about a 7% more efficiency with just the material change, and then another 7% for having the split design in the split tops, or the red top split brushes rather. So anyway, these were kind of the experimental brushes to test that theory, and so I've been running them in the car, and things were working pretty well. The car drove just fine, and you know, I did it on the drag strip out there and at EV-CCon and everything, and it worked great. But as noted in yesterday's video, there were issues, and the motor belched smoke here when I was driving down the highway, and it looks like the brushes are just completely shredded. Yeah, this one in particular, as you can see, I labeled them as little writing on there. So this is the back bottom left brush, and you can see it is just, there's big pieces missing from this thing, and and of course a lot of the other ones are all damaged as well. It looks like mostly the left side brushes, that would be the side that is what I'm calling left, is the ones that are closest to the accessory end, or the tail shaft end of the motor. So anyway, so I think obviously these brushes are toast, and it's interesting for comparison to take a look at the original H60 brushes that I had pulled out of here before. And so this is one of the H60s, H60s, H49s, but they're from N, which I guess is National or something. It's an ML1693, and on the back it says H8, whatever that means. So anyway, so this is one of the original brushes that had not been seated properly, so it wasn't, the spring finger was not on the back of this, and so it wasn't pressing it down, and it's pretty much completely new, like unworn and not used. But you can kind of tell size-wise, you know, in comparison to the H60s, how much wear these things had in the, you know, roughly 2.5 weeks that I drove them. You know, I don't know how much they wore in while Jack had them in the car, and maybe these H60s are shorter to start with, so that's a possibility too. But that just seemed like they were quite a bit smaller. You know, just as a comparison, let's see, I'm sure we got one in here somewhere. It's fairly well worn. Okay, so this is one of the original, again, National H8 deals that I drove for 10,000 miles. That's upside down, but so that was the original 10,000 mile brush, and you know, it's quite a bit worn, but it's still not worn as much as those H60s. So anyway, not sure if that means anything, but just figured I would point it out. So yeah, so anyway, so that's the brushes. Now the motor, and I'm going to try to do this without making everybody too bad with my shaky cam work. So the commutator actually looks pretty decent. I'm not sure if I can get enough to really show it well, but it isn't looking too bad to my untrained eye. It looks pretty decent. So what I'm going to do is spin this. We'll take this light down so I can cause things to go crashing to the ground. There we go. So you can kind of see the commutator going around. And I don't see any obvious damage to it. However, you can kind of hear bad crunchy noises still. So you know, it doesn't spin very freely. It's catching on stuff. There's bad crunchy noises. I blew out the dust as much as humanly possible without taking the motor apart, and all the chunks that I could get out of it and so forth, and probably inhaled about 30 pounds of carbon dust, which I'm sure is great for me. But anyway, so what I noticed, and again I'm not sure if I can get the light in here, is up in there, the light's not really going to happen, is it? It kind of looks like a piece of the insulation material from the outside edge of the case had come loose, and you know, it probably doesn't have its protective film on it anymore, and so forth. So I'm guessing the motor's toast, and I'm looking at a $2,000 bill to have a new motor, plus shipping. So that's going to be lots of fun. But I am going to try to take the motor out. It's a pretty involved process to pull this whole motor out of the car. You know, just detach it from the transmission, from the adapter plate there, and drag it out of there. But I'm going to try to take it out and then pull it apart, take a look at the inside of it, and we'll go from there. Find out if it's salvageable, if I can, I don't know, remove enough of those metal chunks underneath it to make it spin freely and not make bad noises. But it's probably new motor time. So anyway, I'm not going to do that tonight. It's just too much work to start at this hour. But I'll have to tackle it again when I've got some more energy. So anyway, I just wanted to give everyone an update on the status of the motor and the status of the shattered brushes. And yeah, I guess we'll go from there and find out what happens next. Take care and have a good night.